Hello my loves, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as promised, will be on people pleasing. In this video I'm going to tell you a story from my childhood which then set up my attachment style, and I'll get into which attachment style is which and how you can become secure in your attachment. Shout out to Aaron Dowdy for this content idea from his podcast Into the Vortex. I will link that podcast below. Get right into it right now. Alright, so I want to begin this video with a story from my childhood. I realize that everything in life kind of has to do with what happened in your childhood, because when you're 0 to 5 years old, from birth to 5, you are in the theta brainwave state, and that's when you're absolutely absorbing every single thing in your environment, because you need to learn to walk, you need to learn to talk, you need to learn to socially interact. So you're literally absorbing things like sponge, and that's when you kind of get all these traumatic, even if they're so small, they become childhood wounds. And mine is very small, it's very silly, but I really want to share this event with you because you can maybe see how something similar happened in your life. Then I'm going to get into how I changed that, what beliefs came out of it, and how that affected me. But I really want you guys to understand how these childhood wounds then affect your attachment style and can turn you into a people pleaser. The story begins when I was around 4 or 5 years old. I had this like activity book thing on Littlest Pet Shops, and I saw one in there and I really wanted it. And my parents were nice enough that they were going to drive me to the mall, to where the toy store was, and get me this little pet shop, or we were going to look for it. We didn't know if it was there, but we were going to look for it. When I got there, me and my dad went into the toy store, and my mom like went to look around the mall or do something else. I don't remember what it was, but this was at the time where there was no real cell phones. Like there was flip phones, and like smartphones had been invented, but not a lot of people had them yet. So my parents had one phone between them, so they couldn't like call each other on their flip phones or whatever to see where she was. So my mom was like wandering around the mall, and me and my dad went and got this toy. We went to come back, and we lost my mom in the mall. Like we did not know where she went. It turned out we were kind of going in circles around each other trying to look for each other. My dad kind of flipped out a little bit, like he was kind of didn't know where she was, so he was getting frustrated. It ended up with me forming this insecure attachment, which was the anxious attachment style. I had a lot of social anxiety when I was young, and it kind of made me have this anxious attachment in the first relationship that I had with my mother. And it made me form the belief that if I don't control, then people in my life who I care about will leave. Now it's such a simple little thing, but when you're a child, those simple little things affect you. So I then began to go throughout my relationships in life with this belief that if I don't control, then people will leave me, and people leaving is painful, and therefore I don't want that, so I have to do something. This could turn people into narcissists, but for me, it turned me into people pleaser, which is on the same level, vibrational frequency, as a narcissist. Now you may be wondering, how does that work? Like, why would a narcissist and someone who seems so kind be on the same, or in the same level, in the same vibrational frequency? And that's because they stem from similar childhood wounds. Became this people pleaser. And it's both narcissism and people pleasing that is transactional. The transaction between people pleasers and the people they're interacting with in their relationships is that of, I will give you so much love and you will give me validation back. I will be who you want me to be, energetically manipulate you into giving me validation and love and things that I crave. Now, that's an issue, because love should be given freely out of an overflowing cup. You don't want to pour from an empty cup, and that's what people pleasers do. They mold themselves. They don't have strong boundaries. So they make it so that they mold themselves into this person that another person wants them to be. Similarly, a narcissist will energetically manipulate people. It's a little more obvious because they'll withhold that love. So people pleasers and narcissists are on the same energetic frequency, because people pleasers often attract narcissists into their lives. Now, how do we combat this? I realized when I was on my daily walk, I like to take walks in my town every day. I also process things in the shower, like most people, but I do like to take these daily walks, especially now that the weather's getting nice. And on my walk, I was thinking about how this story from my childhood translated into me forming these traumatic events that didn't need to be traumatic. I had issues setting boundaries and saying no to people. So I experienced a lot of trauma in my life because I was telling people that I wanted something that I didn't want. And that sounds so silly, why would you do that? But it was that people-pleasing mentality made me into this person that I didn't necessarily want to be. I wasn't in my own energetic frame. When you're in your frame, you're in your own energy. That's what that means. And I was interacting with these other people's energy frame, and instead of holding to myself, I tried so hard to be in their energy, kind of like energetically manipulate them into giving me validation. Whereas now, I'm able to pour from a full cup and give love because I want to, genuinely. I don't feel like I need to all the time because I know that I'm valuable as my own person. I can please myself first, and then that therefore makes other people want to be around me because they feel that energetic vibration of I'm okay by myself. So important to realize the identity that you have with this and the limiting beliefs that you have around this. If you're a people pleaser, then you kind of need to hold back in your own energy. Make sure you're setting strong boundaries for yourself. Don't let people treat you less than you deserve. And stop energetically manipulating them in that way. Start cultivating self-love and self-worth within you. Discovering who you are and your passion. And then that will then keep you in your own energetic frame, and other people will then be attracted to that. There'll be a secure attachment where you're exchanging love and receiving love and giving love on an equal plane. I want to talk about the attachment styles really quickly. First, there's an anxious attachment, which is the attachment of people pleasing. Anxious attachment style wants to give love, give love, give love, give love, but they have difficulty being on that secure plane where it's an equal give and take because they want to manipulate these people into giving them validation. How you cure that is to give validation to yourself, do what you're passionate about, being your own frame, stop being afraid, and then naturally you'll develop a secure attachment. Now there's two other attachment styles. Secure, as I mentioned, is when you give and receive love in an equal balance. People like this had a balanced childhood. They didn't really have many ups and downs with their parents' relationships. They luckily got through their childhood without a lot of this trauma that they've created for themselves because they were secure. And an avoidant, on the other end, is very standoffish. They might be flighty in relationships, and they're kind of indecisive all the time. Their energy is like resistant to receiving love and also giving love. Oftentimes they're single because they're kind of untrustworthy of that person to protect them, to be secure in their relationship. Oftentimes their trust was broken in childhood. For example, let's have a story about this little boy named Billy. And Billy has this truck that he loves, but it's broken. And his parents say, well, there's no point in having this broken truck, like I'll get you a new toy. Billy wants to keep his toy, so when Billy's asleep, his parents then get rid of the old truck, give him a different toy. That's a breach of Billy's trust, and though that's a small thing, he makes that decision that people can't be trusted. And that then makes you an avoidant person. Avoidant people are often not people pleasers, but it's in the same line of this energetic. They can be narcissists as well, because narcissists really love to be cold. They do want validation from people, but they love to switch off love and withhold love from their partners and their friends and their family when it's convenient for them, when they want something, and then manipulate people like that on the same frequency. That's why anxious and avoidant often attract each other. Back to people pleasing, it's very important to set your boundaries. But if you're a people pleaser and you genuinely care about people, which many people pleasers absolutely do, it's not just an energetic transaction, that's an accidental thing, it's not on purpose. then you need to be in your own frame, be in your own energy, and give from an overflow of your love, from a heart-centered place of your love, instead of from a place of lack. If you enjoyed this video, I really enjoyed making it. If you like this video, you can give it a big thumbs up and a comment below and a subscribe. It really helps the channel. There'll be more daily content every single day from me. I'll be here for you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.